led to a deadly shooting spree over the weekend in the IE. 2 people were shot and killed outside a shopping center, followed by an off-duty deputy taking out the suspected gunman.
And Emirates News reporter Leticia Juarez is live in Fontana with new details on this story. Leticia.
Well, I'll tell you this, David and Giovanna. We've learned from police that at the time of that shooting, there was plenty of law enforcement in the area, most of them off-duty, enjoying the night with their families. But unfortunately, they were unable to do anything about the shooting that took place just outside the sushi restaurant, telling us that it was a domestic violence situation where a woman in the process of getting a divorce was tracked down by her estranged husband, who then shot her and her date here in this parking lot.
We gain all this weight during our pregnancy because we're not taught how to properly eat.
Social media influencer and fitness coach Gloria Zamora inspired busy women to get and stay fit. But behind the strength she exhibited on camera, her personal life was taking a hit. Zamora spoke out about her pending divorce to her thousands of followers just last week on the Horizon podcast.
Instead of you being supportive, you're over here trying to just bring me down.
On Saturday night, the 40-year-old alongside 43-year-old Hector Garduno was shot and killed outside a Fontana sushi restaurant.
There was a male and a female that were estranged. They're going through a divorce that led to this.
Investigators say Zamora's estranged husband, Thomas Alberto Tamayo Lizarraga, gunned down the two in the parking lot.
We don't know how he knew where she was at, but apparently she had been at the restaurant for approximately an hour prior to the shooting.
The shooting caught the attention of several off-duty law enforcement officers in the area who responded to the sound of gunfire, including an off-duty San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputy.
Apparently he was driving on the street outside of the shopping center and heard the gunshots and saw what had happened, made a U-turn at the light, and got out of his vehicle to confront the suspect.
Lizarraga was shot and killed during the confrontation. In a GoFundMe page set up for Zamora, her daughter stated that her mother was murdered by her stepdad. Both victims leave behind children. Zamora, a mother of 7, is described as a woman who uplifted others, while Garduno is remembered as a hardworking and devoted father of 4 girls. Now, we spoke to police about the ongoing investigation. They still are gathering information. As for the off-duty deputy, they are not releasing his identity at this time. We can also tell you that according to the National Domestic Hotline, women in the process of leaving or separating from their intimate partner are most at risk for domestic violence.
Shalom. Back with another video. Before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakahak Wadash, to the elder apostles and bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. I'd like to give double honor. Shalom to the 144,000, to the 1/3, to the hopeful elect. Shalom. We're back with another Lambback video off the brother Arrow of Indignation 144. And I'm going to call my video, He who sleeps with his neighbor's wife will not be found innocent. And in the video, you see 40-year-old fitness influencer was divorcing her husband, running around with another guy. The man found out where they was at and put him to sleep. Now, if anything, they were trying to figure out how did he find out. It was more likely her. Now, I'm not saying she told him, but you know how women like to brag, put stuff on certain social media sites, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, it doesn't matter. And they forget that them places will log your locations, which he probably had somebody else go through one of her pages because she more than likely blocked them, found out where they was at. And as the brother got here, the jealousy is the rage of a man. Therefore, he would not spare in the day of vengeance. He put both on to death, and rightfully and righteously so, because this woman was still his wife. I know here in Babylon the Great, they want to make it seem like women can divorce men whenever they get tired of them, and a lot of this go on daily here. But according to the scriptures, a woman is under the law of her husband for as long as he have living, as long as he live. So we're gonna go there first. Salakia, sorry about that. All right, let's get back into these scriptures. We're gonna start here, Romans 7:2-3. For the woman have had a husband is bound by the law to her husband, so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, then she is loose from the law of her husband. And as we seen in the video, her husband wasn't dead, but she was ready to move on. Now they try to make it seem like the man was a problem, but they probably didn't even have no problem until she became a fitness instructor, got her body right, and all these other men started shooting her ear. That attention caught her. We all know what attention is like, poison to a woman. Once it gets in their system, it totally destroyed. All right, verse 3. If while her husband living, she be married to another man, meaning if she have another sex if she having sex with another man while her husband living, she shall be called an adulteress. So see, she was an adulteress by the laws of the Lord. Why? Because her husband's still living, and yet she was still laying with another man. So you can trust and believe them going out to that restaurant together, that wasn't their first time. That wasn't their first time being out. So we know through the scriptures, through the law, that this woman is an adulteress because her husband was still alive while she was gallivanting around the town with a whole nother man. But if her husband be dead, she is free from the law, so she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man. And her husband wasn't dead. She was still under the law of her husband while she was doing these things. Now, before we go, we're going to get this in another translation. I want to see what the AMP have to say about it. I kind of got a thing for that one. All right, let's read. For the woman, as an example, is bound and remains bound to the law to her husband while he lives. But if the husband dies, she is released and exempt from the law concerning her husband. Yeah. Her husband wasn't dead, as we seen. Well, not till after he killed them. Accordingly, she would be designated as an adulteress if she unites herself with another man, meaning have sex with another man while her husband is alive. But if the husband dies, she is free from the law regarding marriage, so that she is not an adulteress and she may marry another man. And we seen that, man. This woman's husband was not dead. She went out gallivanting, laying around with other men. Let's put men, not men, but men, more than likely, here in Babylon for sure. And while her husband was still alive. Why? Because, like I said, more than likely the attention she got from being a fitness instructor. Like I said, it's like a poison, man. Once it seeps into a woman's system, hey, there's no getting them out. There's no getting them out. That's why the woman and the man who laid with him, the Lord said if they commit adultery, they should be put to death. Here in Deuteronomy 22:22, if any man be found laying with a woman married to a husband, yeah, because what it says, the woman is married to her husband for as long as he shall live. If any man be found laying with a woman married to a husband, or they haven't even got their divorce yet, then they both of them shall die. And did we not see that? Did Yahweh Ba'ashem and Hawashai not recompense upon them judgment for her adulterous ways and the man dabbling in it? Both the man that lay with the woman and the woman, so shall they be put away. So thou shalt put away evil from Israel. And all of them just happen to be Northern Kingdom Jakes. He put evil away from Israel but also had got judged for his own sins by Yahweh by Shem Shai when he got put to death. But in the eyes of the Lord, he did a righteous thing for putting this adulteress and the adulterer to death. Because we just read here in Deuteronomy 22 and 22, if a man be found laying with a married woman that has a husband, her and him shall be put to death. And they both got put to death. The Lord didn't care he had 6 kids and all this other stuff. If he got 6 kids, where his woman at? Matter of fact, why go mess with another man woman? There's plenty of women out there. Like 7 women to 1 man. You can find you another woman. And I do know women lie and try to say they're not messing with somebody. But most of the time with these relationships, you'll soon find out. I'm pretty sure he knew that woman was he knew that woman had a husband, that she was going through a divorce. She wanted divorce, she was going through a divorce. I mean, well, meet me after you divorce. But no, he was laying up with this woman. And guess what? Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua passed judgment upon him. Because when a man find a woman and they get married, and that woman become a possession to that man. So you're trying to take that man's possession away. That's what we have here in Sirach 36-24. He that getteth the wife begetteth a possession, a help like unto himself, a pillar of rest. And there's no way you're gonna just come into a man's house and take his possession. When that rage filled him up, he destroyed you and that possession of his. We're gonna go into that word possession. Possession generally refers to the state or having owner or owning something, or the act of controlling or occupying something. This man had ownership of his wife. As the scriptures say, he that getteth a wife beginneth a possession. That was his possession. We know what the scriptures say about taking a possession from the strong man. You got to defeat that strong man first. You just can't run in their house and take his possession. And you just can't run around and take his wife. Now, if he was dead and she was loose from that law, married, hey, have at it. Take her, she yours. But she was still married. That meant she was still his possession. And without you defeating that strong man, hey, this is what happened. We're going to go here. Mark 3:27 in the Christian Standard Bible. But no one can enter a strong man's house and plunder his possessions unless he first tie up the strong man. Then he can plunder his house. And didn't we just read in Sirach that a woman is a possession of the man? So you can't come into that man's house, his family, and take his wife, take his possession like that, and think no consequences gonna come behind it. Out eating, having fun, the last night of y'all life, and Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua passed judgment upon you, put the spirit upon that man to take vengeance out upon you for doing what y'all did, for the wickedness that y'all were bringing about. We're going to end it here, Proverbs 6:26-29. For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for precious life. Yeah, she brought her husband down and brought the other man down. You knew you were still married. There's no way you should have been dealing with that man. But you didn't want to wait. Like I said, they never said that was their first date. They just were going out on a date. And with the way Babylon is, you know he done touched the back of that oven. And my boy said, touched the back of that oven. Polluting her land. Alright, verse 27. Can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burned? Question mark. Of course he can. You're going to take fire into your chest, of course you're going to burn your clothes. Verse 28. Can one go upon hot coals and his feet not be burned? Question mark. Of course your feet going to burn. So he that goes into his neighbor's wife. Whosoever he that go into his neighbor's wife, whosoever touches her shall not be innocent. And then you weren't found innocent. That's why you were put to death. So you go into your neighbor's wife and you have sex with her and commit adultery, as the scripture said in Deuteronomy 22 and 22, both of you shall be put to death. And we watched, well, we didn't watch it, but we heard the story of that sentence being brought out by Yahweh Shema Shai. Before I go, let me check that. What's that? Proverbs 6. I just want to check something right quick. Let's see. Proverbs. No, my bad. Proverbs 6 and 29. L.
Strong's H 413. Ale. And when in construct, L. Ale,
a primitive participle properly donated motion toward, but occasionally used for a quintessent position, i.e. near, with, or among, often in general to, about, according to, after, against, among, as for, at, because, before, beside, both, and by, concerning for, from, hath into, near, out of, out over, through, to, toward, under, unto, upon, whether, with or within. Let's see. Into, limited, is actually entered. Yeah. When he's entering into her body, man, through sex. In between, in within, to within, into. Idea, motion to. Yeah, so when you go into this man's wife, when you enter into her, as the scripture said, you were found as an adulterer because she's an adulteress. So when you go into your neighbor's wife, meaning you have sex with her, you weren't found innocent. So when the Lord put the spirit on this man to rage out behind jealousy and put you out of death, that's because you were committing adultery. And as we see in the Bible, what that man did was righteous, and it should have happened. But here in Babylon, that's seen as wicked. So that's neither here nor there. Hope this video was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Shalom.